Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the level 2 recording for May 31st. And what I'm going to speak about is how experts do star travel. And let me also show you, because again, my dog boss is right down here. She's wonderful. Cheeky's in the house. All right. How do experts do star travel? First, a little bit about me. I'm not from around here. Aurora, am not from around here. And I said this in level 1 too. Aurora, my persona, is not a thin veneer that I pasted on top of an earthly persona. Aurora is who I really am. Let's have a kiss. Thank you, Cheeky. Aurora is who I am on a galactic level. All right. It's my abstract sense of self. And that abstract sense of self has come through a genetic portal that I invented and created in 2001 called the Flying Rainbow Lasagna. It's a new dance. If you guys do this dance, it doesn't necessarily mean that Aurora comes through you, even though I'd love to come through you. Like, I would love an invitation. That's like playing music together. If you said, like, Aurora, dance through our DNA, I would be like, awesome, I'm going to do it. And what would happen is we would be like musicians having a rapport together, where you're playing your particular melody and I'm playing my particular melody, and they both sound good. Or the same melody being played through, one is a cello and one is, a piano. Like, it can sound incredibly beautiful. That must be consensual. Level 1, I spoke all about the economy of hell and how sexuality is distorted on our planet right now. And a lot of it has to do with things being non-consensual. My whole gig is unconditional love and freedom. And freedom is a totality expression. So it doesn't mean that I could be like, oh, let me just, against your will, insert myself into your genetic code. P.S. That would have been so easy, all right? If all I needed to do was flying rainbow lasagna down to this planet and then strong arm everybody and impose myself upon your genes, like, that would have been really easy. I wouldn't have to be taking like 17 years to do this. It wouldn't have been allowed. The whole point of Flying Rainbow Lasagna is that this does not break any of the previously established precepts or truths of physical and non-physical reality. It takes all of those basic foundation truths and then puts another layer of truth on top of it that doesn't come into conflict with anything else. So it wouldn't have been cool, it wouldn't have been loving, it wouldn't have been freedom. If I'm like, I'm going to force everyone on earth to Flying Rainbow Lasagna, right? That would have been an expediency. It's kind of like this, I'm looking around like, this place is a mess. Like, I'm going to now use mind control to force you all to, like, no, that's not what I do. I'm sorry. That's why I tell people, like, no, I'm not the Borg when I talk about being from a collective, and I just have to drink a lot of water too. I'm not from the Rainbow Borg. Oh, Pedro's asking a good question. What would happen if we did an FRL dance together live? I would love to do that. We can have an online dance party if you want to. So in reference to level 1 teaching and the economy of hell and distorted sexuality, I consider the Flying Rainbow Lasagna dance to be an intimate act of cosmic lovemaking. People have asked me, Aurora, why don't you just do a video of you doing the Flying Rainbow Lasagna? And I really have to say this. I do want to do a video, and I do want to share it with people in the right context. So on YouTube, there's all these videos, and there's twerking videos and things that are basically sexual objectification. I would not want my cosmic lovemaking to be lumped in with the slush fund of, or general mush pile of videos that are about sexual objectification. That is not what this is about to me at all. It's not about how sexy my body looks when I'm doing this dance, or trying to attract a mate by making the right body movements. Like, I understand that that's what a lot of dancing in this time and place is all about. And that's not what this dance is. And it's also not a dance of competition where it's like trying to say, like, I'm better than you, I'm sexier than you, I'm more this than you. It's not that at all. The Flying Rainbow Lasagna dance is much more. Sorry, I got a little bit of background feedback. Let me just make sure everybody's muted. The Flying Rainbow Lasagna is much more about a joyful expression of health. I said joy already, health and vitality and creative energy flowing through me. And you know what I wanted to say also in level 1 about people wanting to have an orgasm or paint a painting, but not end up with the actual painting or baby at the end of it. When I do the Flying Rainbow Lasagna dance, I experience a level of pleasure and gratification and euphoria that is beyond sexual orgasm. And again, I don't want to be misinterpreted by putting out anything that could appear to be self-aggrandizing or like a sex tape with the cosmos. Because when I'm doing this dance, it is intimate partnership with the sun and the stars and timelines and the cosmos. It's a very special thing. So to do a video of me actually doing the flying rainbow lasagna, it's kind of like saying like, wait, like let's see a sex tape of you having sex with someone. It's like, that's kind of like, I don't know if I really want to do that, and I do want to share it in the right context. So I've been thinking I would love to do it. Perhaps we could do it like as a private video, or I could do it as like a workshop with people in person, with people who are, trusted participants. Pedro is saying it's like playing in a band. Could we all play together? Yes, absolutely. I'm trying to say I need to set this up in the right way so that it is respectful and healthy, as opposed to anything that could be objectifying, a commodification, or taken out of context or misinterpreted in any way. To me, it is a sacred activity. And when I do it, so here's like an ironic thing, like you guys can see my studio is in a new place. I moved out of my old place. So in my old place, like my studio was set up so that the access to the bathroom for some of my housemates, like they had to walk right through my studio. And I'd be like in my work zone with my headphones on, doing my flying rainbow lasagna, cosmic lovemaking, and someone's like walking through to use the bathroom and take a poop. And it's like, so to me, it was so difficult to maintain my, joyful expression when that's what's going on. Like that, it's not that, it's very interruptive. It's not that type of a thing. So yes, it requires, if not privacy, flying rainbow lasagna, like to have trusted observers that are with you. So here's the best analogy and example that I have in this. In some indigenous communities, in the Native American communities, let me drink water, there are some dances and rituals or ceremonies that are open to non-indigenous observers, that where it's like, yes, you can take a video or take pictures or have, non-tribal members there to watch. And then there are some rituals, ceremonies, and activities that are only for family members, that are done in, a private location that a non-tribal member would never be invited to, that it's not considered appropriate. And that's how I feel about flying rainbow lasagna. I would love to do it with other members of my flying rainbow lasagna tribe, and with people who are respectful of me and of my energy and of who I am and what I'm doing, and who would not either inappropriately interpret my body movements or project their own sexuality upon me. Because once again, when I do this dance, I'm not trying to move my body in a way that is sexy, like a dancer on MTV, to be able to get a husband by shaking my booty. I never want to be misinterpreted as a booty shaker. What I'm doing is literally pushing and pulling the levers of the cosmos. And it is a good segue into what I'm doing here today, which is level 2, how experts do star travel. This is cosmic lovemaking. So my best answer is, flying rainbow lasagna tribe, we would need to like get together, either have a private video where we could do this, that's something that's not posted publicly on YouTube, and I'm happy to do that, or actually get together physically in person sometime. And I would like to do that, but it would only have to be like with trusted non-psychopathic people, because there's levels of vulnerability. Just like if you're going to play music together, playing music together is a creative act that is similar to lovemaking. And I don't take it lightly either. And I'm very choosy about who I want to collaborate with in my music. So yeah, like I'm not saying you got to audition, to be near me or whatever like that. But I'm trying to say, like, I am very choosy, and we all should be very choosy, because not everybody's on the same page. Some people are looking for like a sex tape, like a sexual gratification, whatever. I'm thinking of some famous sex tape or whatever, but like celebrities having sex, and you see what they look like and what their faces look like that is not the type of video I would ever want to make in terms of this. What I would want to be able to express in a video and have others perceive and see is I feel real joy. I feel real euphoria that is like not a chemical euphoria. It's beyond anything that I ever could experience by merely ingesting a molecule like a pill or something like that. It's very real. And it is joining together my consciousness with a greater consciousness. And it's also something I would wish for everyone, to have that level of personal connection, of good feelings, of joy, of gratification, and of feeling like you're part of something larger and something wonderful. Cheeky's obviously agreeing with me. I think she's like, I don't know what's going on. Like, got some spices up her nose or something. You okay? I don't know if you need to jump down. You okay? Oops. Okay. She needed a little break. Maybe needs a drink of water. I'm going to give her some water here. No, I don't know what she needs. Anyway, taking a break. Yeah, maybe she had a fur ball, something like that. So yes, this is how experts do star travel. So I'm a star traveler. I'm literally from the stars. I did not fly here in a clank-clank metal spaceship. I did not use clank-clank metal technology to transfer my consciousness here. In level 1, I spoke all about satanic technology, which is used intergenerational soul transfer to transfer consciousness from one generation to the next, averting death and all the responsibility of what one has done in one's life. No life review, no responsibility, just kicking the can down the road. That is not who I am. That is not what I did. I will tell you that the lineage of this body, what has happened in their family, they've done that a lot. But that's not what I did. And nor did I in any way co-opt this body. It's not like I looked around, took a survey, and like, oh, who's got the juiciest, best body that I can jump into? No, it wasn't like that at all. And I'm not an opportunist. However, what I did see, I sensed a great injustice, not only on this planet and in this, human society and in these timelines, but in this particular body. The murder of the previous ego structure, occupant of this body, was a great injustice. And at a certain point, like they're in higher dimensional realms, multidimensional beings, there's all these different philosophies or, approaches, and some beings are non-interventionist. They're like, oh yes, I'm a higher dimensional being, and there's all that, sad crap going on down there, but I'm not intervening. I'm letting it do its thing. And like, I'm totally not a non-interventionist. I am an interventionist. And many higher dimensional beings become interventionists because they recognize that shit rolls uphill. Pardon my French. I'm being rather crude in these two recordings today. Yes, problems in the genetic code at the lower levels of multidimensionality percolate upwards into the higher levels. And this is also like saying, what is happening here in this moment in terms of unfairness or genetic distress or distortions radiate outward to our descendants, to other planets, to the future. It affects the future. It affects our future selves. It's absolutely appropriate for our future selves to be like, hey, I'm looking down the time tunnel. I'm using my eye to look down the time tunnel, and I see some real bullshit crap going on down there. And that is actually going to percolate and affect me. And it's not cool for me to be like, I'm just going to be like, I'm just going to meditate. I'm just going to be like a Buddhist monk and just be like, la, 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 pretending things aren't happening. No, you don't have to do that. You don't have to just zen your way through. But there are some non-interventionists who feel that way. And, they're allowed to have their approach. However, they're not allowed to be on board. If they didn't help out the flying rainbow lasagna and they're like, oh, we're just going to let all that crap go on. They're just like, well, really, it's like you didn't pass the audition. You didn't actually contribute. You didn't actually do anything to be a part of this. So yeah, I align myself with other beings who are also intervening. They're not just sitting on their ass doing nothing. They're actually doing something, and they're doing the right things to rectify and heal the time field. That's who I'm a part of. That's my value system, and I align myself with other beings that are like that. And I look for beings on Earth to also align myself with those beings that have a similar approach. Hold on a minute. So I came into this body through a genetic portal. Now you're being like, Aurora, you were just telling us in galactic history about these other bad creep guys, and they came to this planet through genetic portals too. And yes, they did. They used technology to create their genetic portals. Whatever you want to envision that technology as. A ray gun, I'm going to shoot you with a ray gun, and then that disturbs your genetic code so that I can get inside of your genetic code and I can act through you. Maybe that's one version of it. Or chemical exposure. Yes, chemical exposure can harm the natural dance of your DNA. This is carcinogens. When you're exposed to certain chemicals, it makes your DNA stop dancing in these nice ways and start dancing like tumors. That's chemical exposure or radiation. You could think of it in that way. So you could think of it in whatever like your rational mind needs in order to understand that this is a practice that is going on. The meat and potatoes in this conversation is to make a distinction between me, the way that I created this genetic portal, just through love, through willpower, through consciousness, through my connection to the divine, as opposed to needing a ray gun, radiation, carcinogenic chemicals, or any kind of thing like that. That is the way that those other malevolent invaders came to this planet. They used technology, clank-clank metal technology, in order to beam their consciousnesses into the human genome in order to do this planetary rape. And not only am I not a rapist, but I didn't use technology to do this. And this is also part of how real magic goes on. You know, I spoke about dark magic, satanic technology. That's not real magic. Real magic is natural magic, and actually, you don't need a wand, you don't need microchips, you don't need radiation, you don't need accoutrements like that in order to do real magic. And real magic, when you're a magician, like I'm a magician, I'm a magic person. You do the magic spell with your body, with your being. I made a magic spell by creating the flying rainbow lasagna and coming into this body. And being here and speaking to all of you is part of that magic spell. And part of it is also, this body had a great deal of neurological disruption. That's what killed the body. It's what killed the previous occupant. People don't just die of nothing. They die of something. They die of profound brain damage. So for me to be here, healthy, well, talking, walking, dancing, doing the flying rainbow lasagna, all of these things. I joke, I do 12 miracles even before I have breakfast. Like literally, I do. That's because I am able to supersede or transcend the biological disturbances that are artifacts of the death of the previous occupant. So all of this in order to say that I'm here living my magic, that I'm a living example of the possibilities that can come as the end result of flying rainbow lasagna. This is not like being a higher dimensional being in some far removed world and being like, oh dear, the humans are suffering on Earth so much. You know, send them something, send them a flying rainbow lasagna, like, and then you send someone a cheap sculpture. This is not that. This is really being on the front lines, that I have come into this body and that I am flying rainbow lasagnaing with this body in order to show an example of what can happen and what can do. Gala says, can we return soul eating to their rightful owner? Really, really good question. Yes, that's part of this application of flying rainbow lasagna that I'm encouraging everyone to do. That when that dark magic, satanic technology, is essentially one person cannibalizing another person because they don't have the original person, they don't have a connection to life force energy. So they're like, oh, I'll eat that guy and I'll get energy from him. What we can do, you can be like a cosmic police force, cosmic enforcers, maybe not police because police have become so corrupt. I don't know how the word is even heard. When I use that word, I'm not sure how it's interpreted. Cosmic enforcers of cosmic law. There are basic laws of the cosmos, and each one of us can be an enforcer, like deputized. In the Old West, sometimes you weren't officially the sheriff, but there were some bad dudes running around. So what happens is you get deputized. You wear a star, and then you have the authority to do these things. Consider yourself deputized. You're deputized for flying rainbow lasagna and enforcement of cosmic law. And what that means is when you see these injustices happening in the cosmos, what you can do is set things right. If that guy was siphoning off energy from that guy over there, you can flying rainbow lasagna. Let's send that energy back to the original owner, repatriate it, do what is supposed to happen. So how do experts do star travel? Not by smelting a lot of metal and creating like a metal tin can skin that you can get into, floating on my tin can, not by creating like wrapping yourself up like a baked potato in aluminum foil in your spacesuit so that you can have air inside of your spacesuit, not by grinding up all of your food into toothpaste tubes so that you can eat it on the go while you're going across vast stretches of, linear space, and also not pooping in a space diaper. I said this in the introduction on Facebook, my little 15-minute intro, because I know there's myths and everything about, let me just rearrange on my chair here, about whether humanity actually jumped off the surface of Earth and flew to the moon. There are serious questions about whether that was hoaxed or whether it actually happened. I think it's good to ask these questions, but let's say if we believe in that myth, then it is quite ridiculous to say that humanity reached the pinnacle of its technological organization, levels of, using technology, and was able to blast off into space wearing a space diaper. Like, if you're wearing a diaper, you are clearly not mature. And these rules of the cosmos, the way that things have been set up, are set up with fail-safe mechanisms. Just like I said, I made fail-safe mechanisms in Flying Rainbow Lasagna so that it won't just be applied, misapplied or whatever. In order to get off the surface of your planet. If you need some kind of a clank-clank metal technology to do it, like, you ain't ready. If you need to poop in a space diaper, you ain't ready to get off the surface of your planet. And a lot of this has to do with becoming adept enough and perceptive enough as a musician to actually perceive other life forms and not merely spew your microbes all over the entire galaxy. That's not appropriate, because if you're not a good musician, you should not be the loudest musician in the band. If you're just a little tiny infant, you should not be running the family. The family should be run by, a parent that is grown up and responsible and that is going to make proper choices. So, because let's say you're a human, you're infested, you're teeming with microbes, right? On the outside of your skin, in your alimentary tract, in your poop, in your sneezing, in your earwax, and you're going to get in your clank-clank metal spaceship, and you're going to fly to another realm, and you're going to get out of your metal spaceship, and then you're going to spew your earwax and your mucus everywhere and infest this other realm with microbes, and that is not acceptable. Because this is not like Manifest Destiny or the Spanish conquistadors. It's not like might makes right. That value system is very disturbing to me. That is not the value system of love and freedom in the cosmos. It's not okay to say, well, I'm the fastest, I'm the best, I'm going to go out and spew my microbes and screw all of you. No, that's not what's supposed to happen. Because on all these different planets, there are all of these delicate art projects that are going on that are basically the gestation and cultivation of different forms of life. And if you're like, I'm going to take my microbes, it's like basically saying, I'm totally self-centered. I totally don't care about other life forms. I don't care about other larger art projects. And I'm also unconscious and making music that sounds like that. And I'm going to fly wherever I want to and spew microbes and do whatever I want to do. It's totally not cool. And those art projects on different planets, they're the art projects of the sun. I'm pointing out my window, the sun and the stellar network and the stars. They're really big and they're really smart and they're really ancient. And they don't actually appreciate you coming along and effing up their very delicately balanced, created, biological and physical manifestations on their planets. That's like their paintings. It's like, stop screwing up my beautiful paintings by coming here, landing here, and spewing your microbes. So that is the whole reason why you're not supposed to have to use technology to fly to another planet. How do experts fly to another planet? Basically, the answer is using consciousness. Using love is the gas that makes our car go or fly through time. And you have to know where to go. Let's say I'm going to give you, let's say this is a magical spaceship, because it is a magical spaceship. And I say, here's a magical spaceship. And then you're like, okay, cool, Aurora, can I just go wherever I want to go? It's like saying, if I'm giving you a car, here's the keys to the car. Can I go wherever I want to go? Should I go wherever I want to go? Well, the answer is, no, you can't just go wherever you want to go, because there might actually be places where somebody lives where you don't have an invitation. Just like here on Earth, when I go, Cheeky's curled up in her little dog bed. When I go out walking with Cheeky, through our neighborhood, sometimes someone is cooking something that smells really good, like curry or something. She's like, that smells so good. And she kind of just leads me right up to their front door. And I always tell her, we can't go in. We need an invitation. It's not polite to just barge in. Even though you're cute, they'd probably feed you, but we can't do that. And that's the same thing in the cosmos. You can't just be like, oh, I smell curry, let's go in that direction. You can't do that. You got to know where you're allowed to go. You have to have an invitation. You have to have a reason to go someplace. You have to be allowed to go there. You can't just be like, oh, I'm hungry and I'm going to eat whatever I want and poop my microbes wherever I want. That is hugely self-centered to the point of being an infant. That's the way an infant would act. So all of this, in order to do star travel the way experts do star travel, requires becoming an adult, becoming a galactic or a cosmic grown-up. Do you get it now? So all the time, I speak about the sophisticated antediluvian worldwide culture known as Atlantis, who we were before the fall, who we were as immortals, who we were before death was invented. And I often mention that we were a sophisticated galactic culture. That means that what we did on this planet wasn't just sequestered or cut off from everything else, that we interacted with other people from other places, shared thoughts, shared resources, even shared trajectory of consciousness with other beings. That's all appropriate. And in order to do that, you have to be a grown-up. You can't be like, oh, I'm bigger, I'm faster, I'm stronger than you, so I'm going to dominate you. Like that, you can't do that. That's horrible. That would be like in a band. If you're like, I'm the tuba, I'm just going to be the loudest member of the band, I'm the tuba, screw you all. It's like, you can't do that. In order to be in the band and pass the audition, you don't just have to be loud and know how to play your own instrument. You also have to know how to listen. You have to know how to rest. Oh, I wanted to tell everyone about this. In music and in music theory, you know, on the musical staff of notation, there's notes. It's like play, play, play. And then there's rests. Rest, rest, rest. Don't play. And I like John Coltrane a lot. I listen to his music, he's a jazz musician. And I like him a lot because he plays his rests. You can hear him be like, note, 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 don't play. Note, 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 don't play. And I think that there's a great deal of sophistication in there. So part of becoming a sophisticated adult in the cosmic sense, a galactic grown-up, is understanding that sometimes you are meant to play, sometimes you are meant to rest. Sometimes you should be emanating thought waves, sometimes you should be receiving thought waves. How loud should your thought waves be? What type of thought waves should they be? How do you know if you're sending out thought waves in the right way? All this is becoming a good musician. So in ancient Atlantis, or the antediluvian sophisticated world, the process of self-refinement and maturation on the planet was precursor to getting into your non-physical spaceship and flying somewhere else. So I like to say this all the time. If you still need to eat food, like if you still need to have a plant be your intermediary, plant lives on a planet, then you're not ready to jump off the surface of your planet and go into an abstract adventure of consciousness, which is how experts do star travel on pure wings of consciousness. Not taking like, here's my spinach all ground up in a toothpaste tube, and I'm going to take it with me. Or how about seeds? How about this? If I'm going to get into my clank-clank male spaceship, I better take some seeds, some earth potential for life, so that I can plant a garden when I get to my next place, so that I can grow some food and eat and sustain myself in my new place. That's not how you do it. What you do is essentially transfer your consciousness or beam your consciousness to a different world, and then you become an embodied life form on that world. That's what I did. That's how I got here. That's how I'm Aurora here in the physical body. So it's not like I came, with like toothpaste tubes full of space food and I have a closet full of it back there and be like, oh, excuse me, guys, I'm going to go eat my space food. Like, no, I eat bananas and granola. I eat the food of this place. I beamed my consciousness through genetic portals into this human body. And then in order to continue the journey, it is necessary to beam one's consciousness on, this bridge of love to another realm. But it's not okay to be a genetic invader and to be like, I'm bigger and stronger than you. I'm going to do this even if you don't want me to. I'm going to force it upon you. None of that is okay. You got to go in the right direction. It's got to be consensual. It has to be at the right time, according to the great conductor telling you when to go. So, and you also have to have the muscles to run the marathon. So some of those muscles include, you can eat pure light. You don't need to have an intermediary of chlorophyll, a chloroplast that catches light from the sun over here and turns it into a starch or a sugar that we can eat and put into our body. In Atlantis, everybody, or before death was invented, that is how everybody ate. You got like your tendril of attention sent out to the sun, and you get all of the energy and nourishment that you need directly through that tendril of attention. You do not have to die, nor do any other organisms have to die in order to sustain your life. And then the next thing is creating a microclimate that inside and around and surrounding your own physical structure, that you would have your own, you call it like an aura or a cloud of energy. And that's like your immune system and your atmosphere. It's like basically making your body a tiny planet. That's what each one of us is and has the potential to be. Let me drink more water and I'll answer your questions too. You create your body as a tiny planet that can then travel independently of the planet that you have come from. And also the material world is like the mother that has a womb that gives birth to you as consciousness. So right now we're in a physical body. I'm in a physical body. You in a physical body. We're in matter, in the material world. And when we achieve these higher levels of transcendence and metamorphosis, we exit the physical world. We exit the womb. We are not tied to physical matter. So first of all, you're not tied to the planet to grow your plants. You don't have to have a giant floating, flying hydroponic system up there to carry all your spinach with you or your cannabis or whatever you need to grow. You can do that directly yourself. And you also are exiting the definition of what the objective materialist would call the physical realm. Let me drink more water here. And I know there's questions. Good question. Oh, wonderful. Okay. And I know I make funny faces when I squint over here. Joelle says, does traveling outer space maybe have more to do with learning to travel inner space? Inner space. Yes, that is exactly right. Thank you for that. So it is a journey of consciousness. That's why we would call it inner space. It is the inner space that we experience when we were having a visionary experience or a psychedelic journey from hallucinogens. And also remember, you're all members of this class and we're almost at the end of the semester and you're all experts at this point. Flying Rainbow Lasagna means a combination of spirit and matter, energy and matter. So we've got these two divergent things, outer space and inner space, outer space and inner space, and all of a sudden combining them together and understanding that these seemingly divergent realms are actually interconnected and that they have everything to do with each other. So yes, our journey, so I'll talk about my collective and where I come from and everything like that. I come from a collective of consciousness, but this is not a hive mind. It's not the Borg. I'm not the rainbow Borg. And each one of us is an individual and maintains our individuality just like a musician, even while we are part of this larger symphony. And a big part of this is sustaining one another is the best way I can say it. Like while traveling between embodiments, we sustain one another with pure energy. And that energy is thought energy. It's a world of pure thoughts. So I have to refer a little bit to what I spoke about in level 1 and the economy of hell. The world of hell is sometimes defined as the astral realm. Astral, the root word is from stars. The starry realm is a realm of pure consciousness. This realm, this membrane between death, the astral realm, occupiers of the interstices, all of that, those are mental residues. That entire realm is created out of mental residues or thought structures that are flawed, that are not supposed to actually be in existence. I focus too much, I think, in describing that in great painful detail and not enough in describing the world of perfect mentation and perfect consciousness, the beings that, the term papers that we saved, not the versions that we threw out the window. Like that one's got mistakes, throw it out the window. That one's got mistakes, throw it out the window. That's not the term paper that we saved. This is the term paper that we saved. That is the realm of pure consciousness. That is the realm of the stars. The stars are a realm of pure consciousness. So to be a star person and travel on the stellar network and do it the way that experts do star travel, it means that you have a perfected consciousness. Your persona or your characteristics are perfected. This is what happened in ancient Atlantis. And you have cultivated your physicality to the point of not really being physical anymore, being beyond merely physical, and also having this energetic aspect that can eat pure light. Like if you need to still eat physical food, you're not ready to go. But it's like everyone's going to be like, oh, then I'm not ready to go off into space and blah, 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 and just stop pressuring yourself. We are in transition. We're metamorphosizing. And we're actually like really on the cusp. We're on the verge of making this profound metamorphosis. Also, so in order to make this metamorphosis, it requires momentum. So this is also part of how experts do star travel or the transformation metamorphosis process as it happened in the antediluvian society. It's consciousness momentum. So I notice this a lot when I'm on Facebook. If I'm scrolling, sometimes there will be one video that's like heartwarming. It's wonderful. It's like, oh, like puppies or, you know, like something uplifting or whatever. And I feel like, oh, wonderful. And then I scroll and the next one is like something horrible, someone being skinned alive, something very disturbing. And all of my wonderful feelings like evaporate away. That is the feeling, literally, of loss of momentum. when you're feeling those feelings of like, oh, like love, or like a tear comes to your eye because you're watching something, you're beginning to change. It's just like when you're a runner and you're like, okay, you're getting some speed, you're starting to go fast, and then, or like a bicyclist or something like that, and then those disturbing videos or disturbing thoughts that come in that make you then feel horrible or whatever, that's like slowing you down or putting a stick into your bicycle so that your momentum all floats away. And the real challenge of doing this star travel is getting your inner momentum to this higher level of vibration without having that energy siphoned off, economy of hell, without having your joy eaten away, without being brought down. You know, I was trying to sprout some little sprout seeds outside, and I sprouted them so carefully and between little paper towels. And then when their little stems started to poke out, I put them into soil, like little soil containers outside. I'm like, I'm doing so great and everything. And then I watched them, like, how are my seeds not growing? What's going on here? What's going on? And then I had to notice, like, there were little tiny mites that were in the soil that I got from the garden center, that as soon as the little sprouts started to get up above the level of the soil, the little mite ate everything that was green. I have to get a completely new tray or sterilize my tray or something like that. But that is an analogy of what happens with our joy. Like, you start to feel this sense of love and joy and connection to other living beings. That's what some of those videos really play upon, that, you know, like puppies or kittens or children or something like that. And you're like, oh, like I'm feeling connected and I'm feeling joy and I'm feeling that. And then those little mites come up and they eat your joy and they make you feel bad again by showing you a video that's like a police beating or, you know, dogs being skinned alive or something like that. So I am trying to say to everyone, in and also, you don't have to do this journey alone. Oh my goodness, no. I travel with a group. That's way more fun to travel with a group. And you have a specialization, like in our bodies, we have cell specialization. There's not competition. My eyeball cell does not compete with my heart cell. They're made of different stuff. They have different specializations and they have to work together. That's the way my collective of consciousness works also. So I'm not in competition with any of them, and they're not in competition with me. They're like, go Aurora, do the flying rainbow lasagna. Like, you do your thing and we do our thing. And that is how there's sustenance of all of these beings that are going on. So what we can do is help each other to foster joy. And I definitely do that. I hope that you've experienced that either in my video presentations or in your interactions with me, that whenever I'm messaging or writing with someone, and every time I say something like this, someone's like, I'm going to think of the one example that you didn't actually do that. Yes, some people are crapheads, and then I'm not fostering joy with, like, if you're going to try to take away my joy, like, you're a craphead, get out of my face. And that's not who I'm talking to. But what I'm trying to say is that when people message me or when I email with them, it literally does not cost any money out of my wallet for my electric bill or whatever, to be encouraging, to help other people to feel joy, to help other people to feel encouraged and joyful in their life, and to say genuine things that help them to feel positive and happy. I'm not like glad handling people. I'm not like, oh, you're fantastic, everything is great. Like, you know, I don't do that type of stuff, but to say genuine things and to genuinely encourage one another. This is flying with a group. This is what we're supposed to do. So, you know, you can be an artist. I'm pointing to my paintings back here. You can be an artist and you just paint your own stuff and no one ever really knows about it. No one ever really sees it. It's much more gratifying to make your artwork and spend a lot of time on it and then show it to other people and be like, hey, like, check out what I did. And they're like, this is beautiful. We love it. And then you feel like, oh, I want to make more paintings. I want to make more lasagna. That's what it really feels like. So when other people do something that I find inspiring, I write to them and I say, hey, I think that's wonderful and awesome. Or when people contact me, I try to reflect back and say things that are loving and inspiring. This is how we all get more momentum. This is the antithesis of what I said in level 1, physical comedy and the cannibalization of other people's feelings. When if you say, like, I'm going to compare my hair length to your hair length. My hair is longer than you. I'm better than you. I'm going to secretly feel better about myself because of that. It's the antithesis of that. It is literally, instead of cannibalizing, eating away like fish in a tank, you know, they all are eating each other's little fins, instead of cannibalizing other people, actually feeding other people. And it doesn't cost any physical money to do it. It is energy of your heart. It is energy of emotions. It is energy of joy. It's energy of your persona. And you can feed your own persona by being like, hey, I helped someone else today. I encouraged that person to keep on making their music because I said to them, I like your music. Literally, like when I listen to something wonderful on YouTube or SoundCloud or whatever, I'll write a comment. I'll be like, I love your music. Keep making it. Or if I love somebody's artwork, I'll say, I love your artwork. Thank you for making it. It's food on the marathon of life. So when we begin to do these interstellar journeys, P.S., how do you actually do this? It's a genetic dance. It's a tone. It's a music. It's a dance. It's a tone. It's a music. I call it the cosmic dance party. Thank you. Good to see you. Thank you very much for the love. It's a cosmic dance party, and we can work in conjunction. So I could just be one lone lasagna, just flying through the atmosphere. Because once again, everyone, it's in the title. This is not called the sitting on the ground rainbow lasagna. This is not called the subterranean rainbow lasagna. It's called the flying rainbow lasagna. And the flying is not merely in terms of physicality, flying through the atmosphere. It's flying through time, space, and consciousness. I could just be flying through time, space, and consciousness, grooving along, doing my own thing. You know something? It is way more fun to play music with other people, not just be a lone musician playing your own songs. Nothing is surprising. It's way more fun to be like, oh wait, I'm jamming with that guy and I played this and he played this, and then something totally new and unexpected happened. That is what my consciousness collective is like. This is how experts do star travel. In order to get to those levels, to get on board, you have to audition. And this is not like a casting couch type of audition. And it's not the sense of unworthiness, like you're not cool enough, or your nose is not shaped right, or you're not the right color. It's not like that at all. It's more like, have you cultivated yourself enough to be able to join this cosmic band, to be able to make this frequency? So when I spoke about this in level 1 of this presentation, it was about people using a justification or an excuse about their unconscious dark side. Don't blame me. It was my unconscious dark side that was raping that person. Don't blame me. Don't blame me. Like, actually, your job on earth in these material body containers is to cultivate your true self and not allow your areas of ignorance or your unconscious dark side to rule your life. That's your job. That's called becoming a good musician. It's called learning the right notes to play. And if you don't do that cultivation, you can't pass the audition. So once again, the audition is not about like whether you're cool enough, like whether your shirt is cool enough, or your hair is long enough, or whether your face looks right, or something like that. Your audition is about your persona, your characteristics, your approach to art making, music making, love making, your rapport with other people. Because you can't rape your way on board. These true spaceships that are not a clank-clank metal spaceship, you cannot rape your way on board. You can't get there. You can't get inside unless you are shaped correctly. And I use this as a key in order to transform and be the right shape in order to go on board of these larger vessels of consciousness. I have a different painting. It's over there. You can't see it on camera. It's called Vessel. And it is a combination of various star tetrahedra, the Merkabahs, all joined together in order to create a larger, ship or vessel of consciousness that travels together. And literally what I'm doing here with this mission on this planet is looking for the other participants and helping everybody like cultivate themselves, like cultivate yourself until your dark side is under control, until you are your true, central core timeline. And then it's like, you're ready to be in the band. That's what all of this is. And that's why I say this class is like the advanced jazz band, that it's not obligatory. That's for people that want to participate, and that it takes inner personal cultivation. No one else can do it for you. And I'm running my own aspect of the marathon. And I cannot tell anyone else, like, you need to be like this, you need to do this. I'm not that type of a teacher. I'm way more about making my own body and persona or set of characteristics and personal expression as perfected as I possibly can. And then using that as a template or an example and say, hey, here's the way I did it. Here's my artwork. And then look for other virtuosos. So if I'm a really good guitar player, I'm like, I'm going to play my best guitar song for you. And I want to hear what you can do as a drummer. And I want to hear what you can do as a bassist. And then we all are combining together in order to make this. How experts do star travel is like making really beautiful music together, where everybody is able to express, and everybody also listens to everybody else. And it's what makes the music beautiful, is the sensitivity. So wait, let me get back to these questions. Eric says, let's not forget this pesky thing like microbiology and physics. Our bodies are not meant to sustain on the moon or Mars. Really, really good point. Which is another aspect of transhumanism. Physical upgrades for space travel eventually, since Earth is so scarce with resources and overpopulated. Yes, yes, yes. First of all, Earth is not a disposable planet. Second of all, it's totally ridiculous for you to be like, oh, we screwed up Earth, so let's find another planet. That's what happened on Mars. That's how everybody came into the human genome, because they're like, oh, we screwed up this planet, and we screwed up this planet, and we screwed up this planet. Like, you don't get another piece of paper. Like, I don't know if you ever like dealt with little kids, like, they try to draw drawings like, oh, I did it wrong. Let me have another piece of paper. Oh, I did it wrong. Let me have another piece of paper. Oh, I did it wrong. Let me have another piece of paper. Like, this is not like that. You know something? And at a certain point, you got to take responsibility. You got to erase the parts that are wrong and try to fix it and make it better, not just keep on looking for another piece of paper. So yes, this realm, Earth can literally be a divine, heavenly experience. One of the final things I'd like to leave everyone with is the concept of heaven on Earth. Heaven is a state of mind. When I say that you have to audition to be in this cosmic band, what you have to do is be able to achieve certain levels of mentality. Some people at this point have only been able to achieve those levels of mentality by, taking a hallucinogen or ingesting a particular molecule. However, you're not supposed to have to you're not supposed to have to eat a mushroom or eat something. And nothing against that. It's not my way. I have to protect my brain. But you're not supposed to have to take a magic elixir to get into these mental states. All you really need to do is connect with the divine, to connect with life force energy, to do your genetic dance. But it's really challenging because we have all of these electromagnetic fields and carcinogens and other stupid people and when I say stupid people, they're like bad musicians making ugly music and all these people that are trying to essentially keep you out of that mind state. And then there's also worrying about the electric bill, worrying about the internet, having to go to the grocery store and buy toilet paper. There are all of these mundane, choreful things that also take us out of that divine mind state. Here, you want to jump up and then come on my lap? Jump on up. Come here, up, 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 and then jump up. You can do it. Jump, jump, jump over here. Hold on a second, guys. Jump, jump, here, come on up. There we go. I will tell you, who helps me to be in a divine mind state? Cheeky. She totally does. Oh my goodness. If you are ever in a bad mood, guys, all you have to do, hug a dog. Dogs are awesome. I used to hug my cat when I was in a bad mood too. Dogs, love, that this is all about love. Literally, Cheeky helps me to feel a lot of joy. I send her a lot of love. She sends a lot of joy back to me. And I really hope that you guys can feel that. Like, we love to be on the videos now. And I love to show you how Cheeky hugs and kisses me. To me, this is a big part of joy of life. Little kids, our families are supposed to give us joy. Children are not supposed to be a burden, like, oh man, I need to drown my offspring because they're so burdensome. No, it's supposed good. Joelle says she hugs her kitty too. Children are supposed to be a joy of your life, where you're like, oh, let's have a hug, let's have kisses, let's that is supposed to feed you like a type of food. Yeah, so whatever. And also to the idea that Earth is overpopulated. Earth is not overpopulated. Earth is a beautiful place where if we embodied these particular mental frequencies and used our resources effectively, everybody could be happy, healthy, and abundant. And also, we used our sexuality correctly and had the correct offspring with the correct partners, our social structure would be much different and better. I want to get to this question from Pedro. He says, now that you are embodied, if you died, where would you go? The answer is I would be reinserted back into reality and give it another go until I got it right and didn't have to die. Back to the stars, or would you be born in the body of Aurora or born into another body? So the answer is, if I hit the membrane of death, what would happen is I would have to circulate back around to the beginning and try a different combination of events and thoughts and feelings and opportunities, and run this marathon differently, because that time I ended in the membrane of death. So what I've been doing the whole time that I've been here is flying Rainbow Lasagna-ing closer and closer and closer to that central core timeline, to be on the right timeline. And a lot of it has not been about me having to be a different person. It's been about me having to deal with this context, this world, this human screwed up earthly realm that there's a steep learning curve to be able to understand how to navigate this place effectively. So it's not necessarily like, oh, I have to become a different or a better musician. I had to learn in this particular symphony, in this particular band, if I play this note, it's going to be interpreted like this. And if I play this note, then it's going to be interpreted like this. So I had to do a lot of have been very innocent and very naive, and coming from with the world where I come from, you can trust people. That's the whole point. Everybody passed the audition. And here I've been just consistently shocked. I drop my opera glasses when I perceive the barbarian value system, and I perceive cannibalism, and I perceive malevolence. That's been my learning curve that has led to my peripheral deaths. So yeah, I've had to learn not to be so trusting and so open and so loving. Let me get to what Joelle says. She says about beautiful dog cat lovers. She says, I hug my kitty too, and they remind me to be in the moment and take a break from linear thinking. Definitely. That is what my dog boss does. You know, I do all these paintings. I don't know if you can see, but this is all like highly geometric. I use rulers and measuring tools, and I'm very intellectual. I'm in my mind doing this a lot. And then sometimes Cheeky jumps on my lap and she's like, it's time to go outside and run around and just, you know, be free and be silly. And we need to do that sometimes too. That life is not just about the thought structure and consciousness and what I'm thinking. It's also about being in the body and what I'm feeling. And, you know, like sometimes Cheeky and I, like we would go to a park and just walk around and look at green grass or look at flowers or, you know, whatever. Sometimes we just go to the beach and walk along the beach. That is a big part of life. That is beyond mere intellectualism. So that's a big, I'd love to be reminded of that. Joelle says, Aurora, I would like to know what's the difference between using the Merkaba to travel and astral or out-of-body travel. Okay, so the Merkaba can be used for astral or out-of-body travel. First of all, this is the problem with defining words. So in the New Age world, people say like astral realm, astral body. Your astral body is your star body, and you're supposed to be able to use it to connect with the stellar network. But there's like this membrane. It's like the bad neighborhood. Everybody goes to the bad neighborhood, the low level area of the astral realm that's populated by consciousness residues, beings that did not die well, and they are there slowly dissolving, slowly going towards entropy. And they're not cool. They're not good musicians, and they're not cool to hang out with. And unfortunately, those are like the first people that you meet. So here's a good example. You know, when I lived in Woodstock, there was a central park there called the Green, where the bus would stop and everybody would first get off on the Green, and park benches and stuff like that. And like, if you come to Woodstock and you don't know anybody and you don't know how to make friends or whatever, you go like hang out on the Green. You're not going to meet the best people there. You're going to meet like shambling homeless people, drug addicts, you know, punk rock teenagers, people that are like, don't have anything better to do. You're not going to meet, you know, classical violin players, people that have successful business owners. They're busy playing their violins and running their businesses and doing things other than hanging out on the Green. The people that are hanging out on the Green are like, no offense to anyone in Woodstock or any of my old friends. I know we all hung out on the Green. One time a friend of mine met David Bowie on the Green. So you will sometimes meet someone very cool there, but mostly like, no, like you're going to meet people who don't have a gig, who don't have something better to do or a place that's better to be. They're just kind of hanging out, kind of like looking for crumbs, looking for anything to happen. That's the lower level of the astral realm. So using your Merkaba for interdimensional travel, what you should do is have a good destination. You should say, I don't just want to like go to a town and just sit in the park in the central square and hope that I'll meet somebody good, because somebody good, they might actually be not in the central square. They might be in a performance hall. You might have to buy a ticket to see them or meet them, or you might need a personal invitation. They might be having a private dinner party that you can't just barge on in. You might have to meet someone who invites you to the private dinner party, and then you get to be with the cool people. So in terms of the Merkaba is used for personal protection, and in interdimensional travel, I always say to everyone, like, have a flight plan and choose to fly someplace good. And same thing if you're going to do some hallucinogenic substance, try to get beyond the lower level astral. And the lower level astral, like we interpret it through our anthropomorphic filter. It looks like the human created realm. Look, honey, like if you're dead and you think that you're sitting in a box shaped room, you know, with electric lights, like that's not good. That's not good at all. You should be like, wait a minute, I'm dead. I should be completely free and be in a realm to go wherever I want to go, not have to make it look like what I was familiar with when I was embodied as a human. So I would say look for the ways to get to the better areas of town. Look for invitations to the good dinner parties, not just hanging out with low-level creeps in the lower level of the astral realm. Okay, wait. So here's a really good question. SJ, Sarah Jane says, Aurora, what is the name of your painting on the wall directly behind you, closest to the lamp? So this one over here is called Beatific or Beautific. And this one over here is called Quantum Froth. And I actually have both of those available as prints on my print service, and I can, whatever, I can add a little link if you want to check that out. Yeah, so you can see all the details, and you can actually get something printed in any size. You can get like a postcard for $1. So this question from Eric, I think we came from the same family out there. I actually really love that. And that is part of, being here on Earth, I have to say, in some ways has been a very lonely journey. Been here for 17 years as Aurora, and I've experienced a lot of the barbarian culture, and I've been shocked and horrified by a lot of what I've seen. And it's been very challenging, to find true companions and people who share my value system. Like, clearly, I don't go out drinking to bars. I don't believe in the hookup culture. I don't spend a lot of time watching TV and movies. And the times when people, like friends, have shown me movies, I told you about that. I was shown that TV show, the reality TV show called Flavor of Love, where Flavor Flav is like, it's basically prostitution. He's like choosing a girlfriend. I'm like, this is not entertaining to me. It's like physical comedy is not entertaining to me. Online prostitution is not entertaining to me. Like, I'm often shocked and horrified by what is presented as entertainment in the human realm. So yeah, it can be very difficult to connect with other people that have the same value system. Doing this class and being able to interact with people that are here, and all of you are very like lovely, beautiful fellow musicians, makes me feel like I'm not alone. And I used to think I was one of the only, sane people on this planet. And now when I'm actually able to interact with good people, it's like, if you're a really good musician, it's hard to find other virtuosos to play with. If you're a really good jazz piano player, it can be hard to find the other people that are good, that want to jam. So I would say it's taken 17 years. And so part of it is how to connect with people. And also part of it is the inner journey. Everybody's been becoming a better musician until we're ready to make music together, until we're ready to do this. So yeah, I'm very, very happy to connect with the people that share my value system here on this planet and in higher dimensional realms. And that is what this experience of transforming Earth into a heavenly realm is all about. Our minds are reality creation machines. And when we link our minds together, we can create a heavenly reality. And we can begin by creating it here on the planet. Then we can take that experience and I want to say smoosh it on away, like fly away to different experiences. We're not just stuck in this place. We can transform and metamorphosize and go even to other places too. We can basically take our band on the road. Let me get to this other question because this is really interesting. Joelle says, I love how you talk about anthropomorphic perspectives versus the abstract, because whenever I see with my inner eye, I mostly perceive geometric patterns. You're doing it right. If you look with your inner eye and you see geometric patterns, you're doing it right. If you see anthropomorphic faces and other stuff like that, most people, I'm telling you, are indulging in fantasies and human-centered interpretations. Back to Joelle's comment. She perceives energy and color. And I always thought something was wrong with me because other people's psychic perceptions were ETs or fairies or whatever. No, you're not doing it wrong at all. You're actually doing it perfectly right. So that's the whole thing. In this time and place, if someone's like, oh, you've got a psychic inner eye, like, tell me your inner visions. If it's like, oh, I can see who you were in a past life, or oh, I can see your future, or oh, I'm seeing aliens, or oh, you're seeing through their anthropomorphic filter. And it may be more impressive. It's easier to get a career going. If you can tell people, oh yeah, with my inner eye, I can see your future, and I can see this and that, and you can doing readings for people. It's much more popular to see anthropomorphically. However, it is much more impeccable to see with only abstract vision, because there's no room for interpretation. There's no room for misinterpretation through cultural anthropomorphic filter. Energy is what it is. It's like, this color is red. It is what it is. I'm not just saying that because I'm from North America. It is red. It is what it is. Dempsey is saying, I totally relate, but I can barely watch TV anymore. I agree. Not only like the sexual values, violence values, and also watching the contracts played out of the actors and actresses themselves, that that they're making deals and agreements, and how watching their careers unfold, it becomes totally not entertaining, I feel. Pedro asks, what are like your best friends or your collective? Can you tell us more about them? So, I mean, my collective, I have various different people that I care about and that care about me, and mostly with their higher dimensional beings trying to help me in my particular mission here on Earth. And the way that the, way our relationship is like, it's like, I'm here on Earth. I have to actually pay the electric bill. I have to actually buy the toilet paper. Like, I know, and I've been here for 17 years. When I first came, I was such a novice. I didn't know how to do this stuff. But I'm like, I know what I'm doing at this point. Like, I need to go to the grocery store and do this stuff. So they are very much helping me, like, from a higher dimensional perspective. And I am boots on the ground. And a big part of it is I've got the actual body. I've got the physical real estate. I run the mouth. I run the body. I walk and talk and do all of that. And also who I am as a person in terms of Earth context, like, that's me. No one else is owning and controlling me. No one else told me to put on this shirt in the morning. No one else told me to comb my hair. No one else makes me do anything. That's why I get really upset when people are like, it's not my fault. It was my unconscious dark side, a demon acted through me. It's like, no, you're your own body. You're your body. You do your thing. That's it. No one else is making me do stuff with my body, and I take responsibility for it. And I'm happy and proud of what I do. So yeah, they don't tell me what to do. They don't tell me when to do it. And also, like, I'm kind of an expert. I'm an expert at flying rainbow lasagna. It would be inappropriate. It's like telling Mozart how to play music. It's like, even though he might be 3 or 4 years old, he's like, dude, I know what I'm doing. I'm Mozart. So I know what I'm doing. I'm the flying rainbow lasagna. I don't need someone else to tell me how to do this artwork, how to do this music. Like, I know how to do it. My mistakes in life have been because I didn't understand humanity. I was too trusting and too naive. I didn't have cultural context. My mistakes have not been like, oh, I didn't know how to draw something, or I didn't know how to paint or sculpt something. Like, I actually know how to do all that stuff quite a lot. So my relationship with them is that I'm in charge of my own life. No, that's a big thing, because there's all these new age channelists that are like, oh yeah, Lord Sananda tells me what to do. Like, no one other than me tells me what to do. I'm Galactic Aurora, and I'm also Aurora here in the body with my driver's license. My name on my driver's license says Aurora. Like that, I'm both of those beings. And I'm also connected to this collective that cares about me profoundly, because my success of my journey, like, the more that I can tell people about flying rainbow lasagna, the more sculptures I can make. Something, I got to buy some clay. I'm trying to get this new type of clay so I can experiment with an outdoor sculpture. Like, that's a weapon in this battle. I want to say a war. It's a weapon in the battle for freedom, to buy clay and make a lasagna and make a sculpture that other people can see. And they, my higher dimensional collective, they're like, okay, Aurora needs a bag of clay. It's going to cost this much. Let's whip this up. Let's make this happen. Like, that is the way that this works. So it's not like someone else comes along and assigns me like some kind of, harsh critic and says, you're not good enough. You need to work harder. We need you to make a sculpture. It's got to be this big. And, you're going to have to figure out how to buy the materials. It's not like that at all. I say, like, wow, I have this inner directive that comes from my connection to the divine that says, I want to make these sculptures, and I want to do this in this way, and I want to do this in this way. And then I need, higher dimensional assistance. It's kind of like, if I'm in the valley, I can't necessarily see, but someone who's climbed the mountaintop can see pretty far. That's what my collective is like. They have the higher dimensional perspective about time, and they can see, the grander view and the larger context of what is going on, and help and assist me in what I'm doing, because I'm boots on the ground, and it can be hard to have that perspective. There are some earthly personas, beings who have lived as human beings, who have metamorphosized and transcended, and they're part of this collective too. And I feel very connected to them. And most of them are, artists and musicians, people like Jimi Hendrix and Mozart and Van Gogh, that their artistry and the impact that they had culturally here inspires me. And also they're part of that consciousness collective too. And, they had to go through a lot of inner transformation to be a part of that. So, I mean, if you were asking for those are names that you would know and recognize, like, of course, Jimi Hendrix is there. Of course, he's part of it, but maybe not recognizable according to his face, but the artistry that was flowing through that person and their music and their creativity is at large in a higher dimensional context, definitely. Thank you so much. This is, let me say this. Brandon says, I feel your encouragement throughout the week. You are an excellent teacher, and it is a joy to be learning from you. Thank you. Brilliant start. We love you. Thank you, Brandon. I love you back. And literally, like, that Brandon's one of my friends in Alaska. And sometimes when we have very sunny weather here in Southern California, I imagine that I'm like beaming some sunlight up to you guys. I'm sure the weather's getting warmer up there now, but yes, that is absolutely what I do. And I love to be connected to you. Thank you so much. And I send you love right back. Thank you. Joelle says, thank you, Aurora, for sharing with us and help us not to feel so alone too. Good. That's what it's all about, guys. I have felt very lonely and isolated here, especially in the first couple of years that I was here. Like before 2003 or whatever, I thought I was in an insane asylum and I thought I was the only sane person. And it wasn't until I saw The Daily Show that I said, wait, on Comedy Central. This is like when Jon Stewart first started. I thought like, wait a minute, maybe there are some other people that are actually not just completely mind-controlled zombies here. And as the years have gone on, I've met more, and also, you know, doing this work and doing work on social media, like people have gravitated towards me or been magnetized towards me that share my value system, and people that can't deal with lasagna, they're just totally ejected. They're just, and I don't necessarily eject them away. Sometimes they eject themselves, but yeah, like they just go away. They can't deal with the extraterrestrial flying rainbow lasagna. And then the people that are cool stay. And so, yes, thank you, Joelle. Like you're one of the cool people that is, you know, part of the flying rainbow lasagna dance part. I'm very happy to be connected with you. Yeah, thank you very much, SJ. Same thing here. Thank you. Yes, Sarah Jane has been a long-term participant here in the class, and it is wonderful. Pedro says, I can send you lots of sunshine from the desert Southwest. Trade it for some cool weather now that summer is coming. That's it. Brandon, we got to, in the summertime when it's 90 billion degrees down here, we are going to have to ask you guys to send us a cool breeze because it's going to be very hot and oppressive here. Ben says, I agree. Very much help me not to feel alone. Good, because you know what, guys? You're not alone. You are not alone, and this is a very grueling marathon, and we've been through I think like the most difficult duress that it is possible to go through. Like it's been as hard as it possibly can be, and now we're finally getting to the good stuff. And I know I've said that for a long time. I'm not just glad handling you at all. Literally, we're now at the point where we create reality with our minds without impediment, and that's huge. And that we do this together, and that we do this like for each other. I'm imagining everybody else's life getting to be at the most positive, fantastic it possibly can be. And I would wish for you to imagine the best for me. It doesn't cost any money, but guys, imagine me like having a giant gallery show or being in a museum or, you know, being able to be a part of an actual physical symphony. Like envision the best and wish the best for me. And I'm absolutely envisioning and wishing the best for you. Joelle says, maybe one day we can all meet an FRL together. I would love that. And also it's non-local, so we can connect, I connect with as many people as I possibly can in this class and who aren't even consciously in this class to do it. It would be so much more powerful. Like, I think this is what we're actually coming upon, that we will at a certain point be in each other's physical presence, and that will be creating this amazing physical music and physical dance party and helping one another to metamorphosize and reach these higher levels of consciousness. I actually see that happening, and I've been working on an actual physical manifestation of a cosmic dance party for a long time. So I think that that's the direction. This is fun. We're going in the direction of fun, guys, okay? And Ben says, I think the same. Joe, I would love to meet you all. Wonderful. Yes, let's put energy into making this actually happen. Thank you. Pedro says, I wish you all do get all you deserve. That is a very impeccable wish, because that also can be applied to someone who's malevolent, who has sent out, you know, horrible rape and murder. Like, may you get what you deserve. Yeah, that guy's going to get what he deserves. And may we also get what we deserve, sending out goodness and having it reflected back to us. In fact, you know, something I was thinking about that here just the other day. There's a lovely street that I was driving upon called Alto, I mean, high road. There's lovely houses there. I was thinking, I would like to live in a world where everybody who lives on a big, you know, beautiful, like a high vantage point road and beautiful house is there because they earned their money not from participating in satanic technology or something like that, like, you know, something horrible or destructive, but instead because they are the best people, because they helped a lot of people, inspired a lot of people, healed a lot of people. I would like to see people, you know, who are abundant and happy and living in giant mansions, because we have, like, oh my goodness, one of my friends is a social worker, and he like has to work a supplemental job because he gets paid so little. His whole life, he just wants to help people, and he's paid so little in the society that he can barely, you know, keep things together. I'd like to see people like that have big giant houses and big giant paychecks and have no problem paying all of their bills, because it's sending out so much goodness. So may everybody get what they truly deserve. Joelle says one more thing, and then I think it's good for me to wrap it up. These are long uploads. One more thing. What do you think about the Schumann resonance spiking, is this a good or a bad thing? This is birth pains. This is definitely like our exit from the material world, the womb of Mother, Earth and material realm. We're entering into a realm of pure consciousness. That's a huge responsibility. It's like a dream world. The lower astral is like a dream world. If you're screwed up inside, you're going to have screwed up dreams. If you have, messed up experiences, or if you've been abused or whatever, then you go into a world that's based in pure mentality, you're going to manifest things that need to be healed. So also what we're experiencing in our social and economic realms right now, this is everything we need to experience in order to be healed, so that we don't bring the baggage into the new spot. Like, wipe your feet, please, before you come into the new realm of manifestation. So that's also part of inner self-cultivation, inner healing, purging. It doesn't mean those things didn't happen. Like, I have the scars in my brain of previous occupant being murdered, but what I've done is the emotional healing of not having to bring with me the baggage of the suffering, so that when it's time to create something new, I'm not creating from the pain that I've experienced. And I would wish this for everyone. Whatever trauma you have experienced, may it be healed now in this moment, so that you can wipe your feet, get all the mud off your shoes, and get ready to go into this perfectly wonderful, realm of pure potential that we are entering into. This is Truin. Hello. Says, I've heard you refer to your paintings as maps. Could you explain at some point how to read them as a map? Yes. And the answer is it takes a semester. So at the beginning of next semester, that'll be like kind of mid-June or whatever. Please, if you're new to the class, please tune in. All of these maps are read by understanding the language of vibration that is made out of color, line, shape, proportion, movement, texture, and tone. And I go into that in detail in order to understand how all these puzzle pieces fit together. And it's a map, like we're each pilots. You shouldn't be like, oh, Aurora's the pilot. She'll tell us whether to turn to the left or turn to the right, and then we're just going to listen to her. No, you can't do that in this realm, because each person has to be their own pilot and guide their own vehicle through time. So learning to read the map is part of that. And a question from Joel says, some are trying to say it's because of all the frequency, weather, technology, and Earth is being sick. There's a lot of disruption that is happening on Earth right now in terms of weather modification, artificial EMFs, attempts to like CERN, other large hadron colliders and things like that, to subvert the healthy natural functioning of our planet. So that is all very real and ongoing. And also Flying Rainbow Lasagna blows all of that out of the water. We are the Large Hadron Collider, guys. You're an individual super collider. You don't ever acquiesce your power to be like, oh no, the machines, screw the machines. I know they're doing all of their crappy stuff. We are way more powerful. And Pedro says, too many good info here. I have to watch it again. Good, wonderful. I have to tell you, I'm like super tired. My voice is very tired, and I'm very tired from these long presentations. So let me wrap it up for right now. Thank you very much to everyone. You are wonderful participants. Like the questions and the comments that you make are incredibly valuable, and I learn and gain a lot from this. And thank you for like being with me on the journey, confirming that I am sane. Like you're sane, I'm sane, we're sane. They're crazy out there, but at least we got our shit together. And let's keep running this marathon together. Let's manifest an actual cosmic dance party where we can actually do the Flying Rainbow Lasagna together. Let's manifest an ideal heaven on earth where good people are rewarded for their good efforts and live in multi-million-dollar mansions on a high hill. I mean, literally, that we do this with our minds. Let's continue to do this. Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you so much, Joe. Thank you for being here. Wonderful. Thank you very much. I'm just ending the presentation for right now. And thank you for everyone who watches and shares this video.